Hi, my name is Mahaneela, and today we're doing the breakdown for my most recent music video I directed, Cue the Sun, and it's by Alycia Bella and Boogie. So, let us have a look here. Actually, I'll take it back and tell you how this even came about, right? So, it came through Love Renaissance, who are an amazing label and management company. They look after Summer Walker, Black, loads of amazing artists. They had this song with Alycia, and it was just so mad because I last minute flew to New York and we were due to have a phone call. I was meant to be in London and I never even said I had flown to New York. She was meant to be in LA, but she actually last minute flew to New York as well. So our call comes up now and we're both on the phone, and then I say on the phone like, oh yeah, like I'm actually not in London, I'm in New York. And she's like, wait, I'm in New York. And then I'm like, wait, where are you? Turns out we were 1 minute away from each other. So she literally like just walked next door and then we met in real life. So that was really dope, and I feel like that fueled everything. It was just mad. And obviously the song is called Cue the Sun. I didn't know if she had any kind of previous ideas about it, so I just started and I was like, I think of Jim Carrey and I think of The Truman Show. And she was like, are you serious? Like, that's literally what I was about to say to you. Like, that's what I want to do for this video. The next step was figuring out where to do it. Where can I actually make some kind of water pool? Are we actually going to go in the real ocean? Are we going to do it in a studio? Like, I've never done anything like that. I saw a Bryson Tiller music video where it was, I don't know if you lot have seen it, it's the one where it's all the really buff gals and they're like in the beach and he's like the photographer. So I saw it and I googled where the is that place because I want to shoot there. Where the fuck is that place? So shout out to my producer Sally, who literally helped me find this place that I'd seen in this Bryson Tiller music video. It's literally in the middle of a desert. Like, it's just a big desert, and then there's this studio that's open air in the middle of a desert. So it's just like a huge white wall, and then they painted the floor blue. So then they use a hose and they fill up the water. So it's like a low level pool, basically. I had this idea of Cue the Sun, like the scene in The Truman Show where basically Jim Carrey, he finally realizes, he realizes that everything he knows is a lie. And it's when he's out at sea and he's trying to swim away, and then he finally gets to the edge of the horizon and he touches it and it's like, it's a real wall. And that's when he starts feeling around and he realizes and the illusion is broke. And that basically, that concept is called breaking the fourth wall, which is basically when you break the fourth dimension. You might see it in films and TV where the character looks at the camera and talks to the camera and they recognize that they're on TV. That's called breaking the fourth wall. So this is basically an idea that's centered around her breaking what is the reality. And that's kind of what the song is about. It was so dope. I worked with this set designer called Matt Soko, shout out to him, who built a boat, like actually built this boat, painted it the color I wanted it, built the sail, everything. It was like literally bespoke for her. We came up with the idea of like, how do we make this big blue sky when we don't know if there's even going to be clouds in real life. So he basically had the idea to go to a prop department for a theatre. He found a really tall backdrop that had clouds and stuff on it, and then we sprayed it with water to flatten it against the wall. And then in VFX we ended up like using VFX to like blend it and extend it to make it like super big. I really wanted to like do something crazy with VFX because like I've never really done it and I really like doing new things every time I shoot. So I decided I wanted to turn them into giants. So when I looked at this and I saw like there's a big line between reality and like the fake world or whatever, I decided that Alycia was actually
a tiny little Alycia, and there was actually like
a much bigger world outside.
So I imagined that Boogie, the rapper, would come in as this giant looking down at her, and that's kind of like another way we'd realize that everything wasn't real. Explaining that was mad. It was like, it made sense in my head, but it didn't really make sense when I said it. Here he is! So yeah, basically this is what I drew to help people understand what I wanted. As you can see there, you've got that's Alycia, and then up here, that's Boogie, and that's basically how I communicated my idea. I had my iPad, my Apple Pencil, and I drew a little man, and that's basically what happened. Then after that, this was not my drawing, I cannot draw. we hired a storyboard artist who was amazing, and basically I did this myself, but it was terrible. When I say I'm so bad at drawing, but she turned it into something that was actually really beautiful. As you can see here, the story is like she's in the water, she reaches the edge, she touches the wall, she realizes it's not real. The shadow that goes over her hand, she looks up and you see Boogie, he's there with all the clouds. She looks in the mirror, she sees herself with Boogie, she walks away with him into the real world, and that's kind of how the story ended. And this is how we did the VFX. This is a really funny guy on crew who was part of the set design team. Basically, we used 2 green screens and we created a platform that was meant to be like the wall, and then yeah, we basically shot them there and they had to pretend they were looking at their little mini selves, which was kind of cool. This was definitely the biggest challenge for me, shooting VFX, directing people, when the talent, none of the crew, like nobody other than myself knew what it was gonna look like. So they're all like trying to do their best, but they actually don't know like what's in my head. So having to really over communicate and explain, like, right now you're technically sitting on this thing, and they're like, huh? Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm doing it, but I don't really know what it's gonna look like. So it was a lot of trust on their part, and also for me it was like a challenge communication wise. Like I really had to like learn how to properly explain exactly what I wanted, you know. This is like the schedule, that's boring. This was the treatment, I didn't even look through the treatment. These are all my references: Truman Show, the big hat. That's actually from a previous music video I directed. Referencing myself. I stick pretty much to my treatments. Like, I don't know if that's how everybody works, but for me, I feel like it's super important to just plan beforehand so that you can deliver what you say you're gonna deliver. Like, I think the worst thing would be to like, say I'm gonna do X and then it comes out and it's Y, and everyone's like, that's not what we paid for. Do you know what I mean? So I have to push myself to explain every shot on the shot list, so that when push comes to shove, it's like, no, this is exactly what I said I was gonna do and I've done it, kind of thing. My favorite part of the video was actually being on set. Was my favorite part, just because I've never had a boat, it was like something that I'd never done before, and it was just super exciting to me to just be there, like making something that is purely from my imagination. Like, that was really cool. Also, it was just vibes on set, like here I am living my best life as they're sort of like setting up. So yeah, I had a lot of fun. I smoked a lot of weed because I was in LA, so I also enjoyed that I was on set and I could just smoke.
Bon voyage!
Chef's kiss. I just also love the fact that like there was a lot of details on that video. Like her nails had like clouds on them and stuff, and like I proper like art directed her nails before the video, and just the small touches, you know. That was it. Thank you everybody for watching my breakdown for the Cue the Sun video. My name is Mahaneela, I hope you liked it. Shout out to ABOE and the rest of the gang. Cue the Sun. Hello everybody, my name is Mahaneela. I'm a director and a photographer. I'm wearing sunglasses inside because I'm a bad bee,